on my phone. Oh,
This is setting up your meeting for Facebook Live.
I see us.
Here we are.
Hi.
Welcome, everybody, to Leadership Live. We are so excited today to talk to Special Agent Bobbi. Bobbi Desai. She is a real estate agent plus special needs mom. So we're excited to have her on. And she is also the leader of our Leesburg market location. So we're super thrilled to put her on the spot today. Hi. Oh, Michelle says hi. Hi, Michelle. Kim
Hi, Michelle.
and Jeff. Oh my God. We got, ooh, Alexis. Hey. That's how
Oh
she's.
my goodness.
We're having fun today. I'm
There's
telling
actually people watching.
you. There is.
Yeah.
We have a handful, so we'll see. And of course, there's going to be the replay. Um, but the whole point of Leadership Live is so that everybody gets to know their leaders. And I like to put people on the spot. I only have like 7 questions, so we're not going live like for all day, but we're just going to go live for, 10, 15 minutes max. But I wanted to kind of, get to know who you are, get to know what you think a little bit. And then if anybody else has questions for her, go ahead and type them in the comments. I can see the comments from here. But we're going to get right to it because we all know who she is because I just said it. And then we're going to go the first question.
Okay.
Something that most people do not know about you.
Something most people don't know about me. So I am an adrenaline junkie. I have gone skydiving multiple times. I used to race car drive. I've done cliff diving, whitewater rafting. The only thing I have not done yet is bungee jumping. And I have to admit, all that's kind of tapered off now that I have kids. But my husband and I are avid scuba divers, and we love to do stuff like that. So we did a lot of that before we had our kids.
Race car drive? Where did you get to drive a race car?
Mid Ohio. I lived in Ohio at the time. And what had happened was I'd been in a car accident on a bridge where it had frozen over. And so my car skidded. And my insurance company was like, okay, we need you to take this car control class in order to keep your, so you can keep your insurance. And I went there and I fell in love. And it was the Mid Ohio racetrack, which is in Ohio. And so I just started, taking classes and learning how to drive race cars. So it was a lot of fun.
Jeff says, wow, who knew? I know. Right? It's like,
I know, you wouldn't think it, right?
She's like listing. I'm like, holy moly.
Oh yeah. So we don't do as much of that stuff anymore, of course, because, we don't want to take that risk with kids. But we love roller coasters. So I grew up in Ohio, and Cedar Point, which has the highest, fastest, steepest roller coasters in the world. And my husband and I went there, and we just spent all day going from roller coaster to roller coaster. So,
oh, Lord. I used to do that younger, but I feel like the older I get, like I get a little bit more queasy. But,
yeah.
All right. How do you deal with negativity?
I think a lot of it is understanding where it's coming from. So, for example, there's a lot of negativity that goes on right now, but I try to just remember, especially on Facebook and everything, people love to express their opinions, but everybody has very deep beliefs that lead to that negativity. So, if you put it into perspective and remember that everybody's dealing with something, that helps. And then also a lot of positive self-talk, like every time you hear about the negativity that's going on in the world, counter it with the things that you're grateful for, or the things that are positive that are happening. And, it's a lot of self-talk and just keeping yourself, happy. I specifically try to stay positive as much as possible for my children because I know they feed off of my energy. Yeah. So I really need to, maintain that positive attitude and hope. Like we just need to have hope because things always do get better.
Yeah, and that's super wise is to gain a perspective, right? Because we don't know what other people have gone through, what they woke up with that morning or whatever. So like just to be able to be the bright light in somebody's negative day, like I think that would speak volumes. So thank you for that. That's awesome. how long have you been networking?
So I have been networking ever since I can remember. When I lived in Ohio, and started working in marketing and advertising, I was part of the American Marketing Association and the Advertising Club and all of those organizations. And so I used to network that way. I actually found my job when I moved out here with the NASDAQ stock market through networking. I actually met the CMO at a networking event. And when it was over, I went up and asked him, he spoke, and I went up and asked him for a copy of his presentation and his slides because I was so impressed with his branding presentation. And then I happened to see a couple months later that he had a job opening. And so I got my resume, I got everything ready. I went to his office, like unannounced. And I went to apparently NASDAQ in Rockville is under like strict security. So I went up to the security guard and I said, I would like to see John Jacobs. And he was like, okay, do you have an appointment? And I was like, no. So they called him and he happened to be in town and he came downstairs and I said, I met you at the American Marketing Association event. I want to work for you. And I handed him my resume and I ended up getting the job. So that was all networking and, just meeting him that way and being able to kind of parlay that into a job was, fantastic. So yeah, I've been networking for as long as I can remember.
Oh, you got some brass, girl.
That's what they said. Actually, the people in the marketing department were scared of me because they were like, oh my God, she must be such a bitch. Like, she just shows up like that. Who does that? So yeah, it was probably the bravest thing I have ever done when it came to, actually pursuing a job. It was the most aggressive thing I'd ever done.
That is some strength. And that shows the power of also some networking, right?
Yeah.
Because you felt probably a little bit more comfortable because you've already met him before. And you're like, well, we'll meet him again.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Becky says hi. Hi, Becky.
Hi.
Okay, what is the coolest thing that you've ever learned by networking?
The coolest thing I've ever learned. Is this like something I've learned like about myself, or are you talking about like education wise?
What just came to your mind?
I would say that everybody has a place where they belong. I think that being a special needs mom and like before I went into real estate, I had quit my job with NASDAQ. I was a stay-at-home mom of two kids under the age of 2, one with special needs. And I didn't think I belonged anywhere. I didn't think I had anything to offer the world. I had just hit this point where I was like, I'm just going to be home with my kids. And that's fine. It just wasn't what I ever thought I was going to do. So the thing about networking and being a part of Net 2.0 was it gave me a community where I felt like I belonged. I didn't necessarily being a special needs mom. It's not that there are all these special needs moms around me. It's not like there are all these real estate agents around me, but everybody accepted me just for me. And it was the first time, Net 2.0 was the first time since I had my kids that I really felt like part of a community where I belonged. So that I think is what I learned through networking and specifically through Net 2.0 is everybody has a place. If you're passionate about something and you love what you do and you stand up and represent that, that's part of you and you belong. You belong. You have a place to be. You have a place where people love you and support you and accept you.
Yeah, and that's super important, right?
Yeah, definitely.
To give you strength, just to know that you have someone to call, just to know that someone's going through the same stuff that you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's easier seen now because we're all going through one thing that's the same, right?
Right.
And I think we all need help at certain levels and certain time frames during this whole thing. So that bleeds into my next question. Why Net 2.0? What's different about us?
So when I was networking, when I went into real estate and decided I was going to specialize and kind of brand myself, I started going to all these different networking groups. And what I really liked about Net 2.0 is there wasn't a commitment to you pay this amount, you come every week, you're here. It was come if you want to work on your business. And if it doesn't work out for you, we're not going to hold that against you. And for somebody like me who needs that flexible schedule, that was amazing. Like it was like, oh, this is great. And then starting to meet people, and it wasn't about, like the first thing I mean, of course we all knew what each other did, but there was a community there that was really strongly trying to support each other. Like I didn't feel like I was being looked at as my profession. Like, oh God, she's another realtor, because you get that a lot. Like people are like, oh, I know 100 realtors, or I know 100 financial advisors. They were looking at you like you. Like, yes, you have this job and you have this career, and I would like to learn more about that, but I want to learn more about you. And I think that's why Net 2.0 really stood out to me. It was just a community of people that wanted to be there and wanted to help each other.
That's awesome. I love that. What, this is not on the question, but it just came up. Like, what you said that you liked the flexibility, that you didn't have to be there every week. You just can, but you joined the leadership team, which makes you have to be there every week.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Well, first of all, I was honored that you asked me, because, I went to Net 2.0 every week for months, and I so looked up to you and how you ran the group and how it was such a positive environment and how everybody was accepted. Like I don't feel like anybody felt like they didn't belong. I mean, it was just, it was such a warm and supportive environment, whether you'd been business for a long time or whether you were brand new to the business. And so when you asked me, I thought, this is an organization I feel strongly about. I can attest to the fact that I've gotten business from it, and that I've kind of gotten all of these amazing relationships through it, referral partners and just friends. I mean, the community is so strong, and we rally around each other. And I wanted to be a part of that, more than just a member. I wanted to be a leader, and I wanted to help hone that type of environment that you had already started in Ashburn. And I love the idea of being part of that in Leesburg, where, it was near me, and it was in a town that I love, and that it gave people another opportunity to experience the same thing a second day a week. So that's why
And I think you and the other leaders from Leesburg did a phenomenal job with exactly that. And I think that was probably my underlying mission, is that I wanted a place where everyone just felt valued, right? Because I think that's lacking in so many of our lives. I mean, even some people will attest that they don't even find value, like they don't feel value from their family and friends, right? They are looked down upon sometimes. But when they get to a group that's just like, hey, look, we're all in this, and we're going to do the best we can, and we're going to learn. When we don't win, we're going to learn. And so I love that. I wanted to, Kimberly Gibson said, sucker. I don't know what that was for. But I'm so glad that she graciously accepted the leadership role. It is something that I could not have committed to. Kimberly, yes, you could have. We love you. And that's why she said suck up, by the way. Just, she's like, sorry. But yeah, no, we get it. And we're very glad that you accepted that role as well. Ellie is with us as well. She says it's an amazing culture. And for some reason, I have lost the rest of my screen, but I know that Ellie said hi to everybody. So hi, Ellie. A couple more questions, and then we're going to end our live. But best advice for people who want to get more out of networking?
So a couple of things. Be present, as much as you can. So it's not just, and that doesn't mean just to go to the meetings, but talk and ask people questions, learn about them. There have been situations where I've been at a networking event, and not Net 2.0, but other networking events, and people would just talk at you, like, let me tell you all about what I have to offer. And they wouldn't ask you any questions about yourself. And so I'd patiently wait until the opening came, but sometimes it never did. And so, ask questions, learn about other people. The more you learn about them, the more, I think, connected they're going to feel to you, and the more they want to learn about you. I mean, it's about the relationships. Everything, it used to be, it's all about who you know. Now it's about the relationships, and maintaining those relationships. And so I would say, yeah. So I'll be honest, I have not been all that great with my one-to-ones since COVID started. only because I have kids at home. It's been chaotic. I really like the in-person that we get to do, and that not being available, it's been really hard on me. Like I get a lot of energy from other people, so I've definitely been feeling this little, bit of down, I guess, over the COVID time. So my one-to-ones have not been as often as I would like. But if you take advantage of those one-to-ones and you get to know people, and not just once, but check in with them and see how they're doing. Talk during the meetings, express yourself, let us know what you're thinking. I mean, we want to be able to learn more about you. And if you do, have a talent in a certain area, that's even more that we want to learn. And it's even, it gives us more of an opportunity to get to know you better and take advantage of that and take advantage of each other and what our talents and interests are. And I think that, that's my advice to somebody that wants to get more out of Net 2.0. It's not just about going consistently, it's being present while you're there and making sure you set up those one-to-ones and follow up with people.
Absolutely. Love that. Yeah. One-to-ones and follow up. It's follow up is a key because you're right. You can't just have one-to-one meeting and then just never talk to that person again and expect that that relationship is established. It's not. You wouldn't call someone you met one time for an hour your best friend. So you wouldn't call somebody you've met for an hour you wouldn't say that they were part of your network, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you'd be surprised. Like there have been times that I've said, I really I don't need to do a one-to-one with that person. That early on it was like, well, that's a financial advisor. I know enough of those. I refer enough to those, or, realtor or mortgage lender or whatever. And, the thing is though, when I did get together with them, I just learned so much about them. And I ended up gaining so many close friends that way. So
Yeah.
it wasn't just about what they did, but these became some of my best friends. So you just never know what you're going to get out of that one-to-one and who you're going to meet and how you're going to connect and how that's going to enrich your whole life, not just your business.
Right. And why isn't it okay to know several of this someone who's in the same industry? Because your clients are going to interview 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
Right. So why not be the source of those 3 people for them instead of saying, oh, I know one, go find your other 2. Like you want to be their overall solution. And so if you become in the better light and all the better if all 3 of those that you absolutely love. Right. And they know that they're competing for that lead. So to me, it's people will do business with who they can connect with the best. And maybe you can connect best with this one person, but your client's not going to. They want to connect to this person over here because they both like, I don't know, Shih Tzus. Who knows? Like, right?
Yeah.
You don't know.
Right.
You don't know what you don't know. So that's awesome. And the last question is always a challenge that you get to issue. So, what challenge would you like to issue to those watching today for a networking challenge? Like, if you've seen some of the challenges I've put out, is to schedule 5 one-to-ones in a 7-day period, or what is your challenge? And it could be anything. It could be personal, like personally driven. It could be business driven, but it could be anything. So, what's your challenge for people today?
So one of the things that I think that we forget is to have a specific way that makes us different in our business. And it's not, some people love to say, oh, I'm great with customer service, or I'm a great listener. Those are things that we all say that we do. Those are things that we all want to be known for, is, I take really good care of my clients. I want to know specifically, and just post under this video, this is your challenge, is what specifically makes you different. And I'm not just talking about business, but in life. What makes you unique that we want to know you better, that everybody wants to know you better? So, it's kind of like, what's your unique value proposition? What do you bring to the table that nobody else does? Because I think that too often we have not identified that in ourselves. And because we haven't, when somebody asks us, well, why should I hire you? We don't know what to say. Well, I will take your phone call anytime. I have great customer service. When it comes to friends, well, I'm always here to listen to you. Well, there's a lot of people out there that do that. So what's unique about you? It could be a perspective. I could say, Well, I am a special needs mom of a child who's extremely rare. So that journey of, him being undiagnosed to being rare makes me very unique in how I look at things. So
Yeah.
things like that. Tell us specifically what makes you unique.
Yeah, I love that. And I think, and it also opens up the transparency, right? So a lot of people wouldn't know that about you unless you said that, right? Like, I am a special needs mom, and my child has this rare, extremely rare, right, disorder. And you can, like, there's so much to be said about that because then people see you in a different light. They're like, wow, how strong can she be? Like, you're an incredibly successful real estate agent, so being able to say something other than, well, I'm honest and I have integrity. Well, so does everybody else. Say
Exactly.
that. You could absolutely 100% have it, but the guy next door to you maybe not doesn't have it and says the same thing, right? So what makes you unique? So I love that. I'll post my unique in the comments as well, with everybody else. But we'll go ahead and post that question for you and the challenge in the comments below. So if you are watching this after the live back, please go ahead and let us know what you feel is the most unique thing about you that people would respond well to. So I love that. Bobbi, thank you so much for joining us at Leadership Live today and sharing your expertise and your
Thank
experiences
you.
and giving us a challenge. Ellie says, Bobbi, you are such a connector and light.
Oh,
And I'm going to
thank
end it
you.
there because I think the same.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Have an awesome day. We'll talk soon.